Hi, friends. It's your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about Greyhawk, and we're going to talk about me meeting in person Joseph Bloch in at Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo 2 in January of 2025. All right. So first of all, who is Joseph Bloch? So first of all, he is the Greyhawk Grognard. And if you've been on my channel, there's a good chance you bounced around on his channel too. Although we diverge in our opinions of Dungeons and Dragons dramatically. All right, but let's talk about this. So first of all, you can find his channel at the link below. He's got a great channel. You should definitely check it out. Although, to be super clear, he and I vehemently disagree on Dungeons and Dragons. So one, he loves Greyhawk, right? Absolutely loves Greyhawk. And that's the focus of his channel. And he's done a ton of, videos on Greyhawk. Now, logically, we would be allies, right? Because we both love Dungeons and Dragons. But he only likes old Dungeons and Dragons. He's like, boo-hoo on Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, boo-hoo on Dungeons and Dragons VE, the new 2024 core rule books, right? So that's going to be a division for me, right? Like I love D&D now. I love whatever version of Dungeons and Dragons is out right now because I like where Dungeons and Dragons interacts with American culture, interacts with pop culture, interacts with just people who are excited about it today. Not like, oh, I loved playing Dungeons and Dragons in the 80s and 90s, but it sucks today. It just ain't my jam, right? So he wears that Grognard tag, right? So, online, like most, people, like most me and any OSR or indie, there's going to be some friction, right? Now, we never had too much beef online. I would go onto his and I'd, comment on a few. Anyway, I encountered him. So I'm at the con. I'm at the convention, right? The Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo. And honestly, I will say, man, oh man, it was an incredible convention. And you always know an incredible convention because you only have so much time there. And you're like, oh man, I wanted to do this. I went to this panel and I missed this. And I go to as many panels as I'm interested in. And then I try to squeeze in the vendor room, right? Now, the reality is I rarely buy. Actually, the only thing I'll buy at a convention is something on deep, deep discount, right? The reality is I don't really go to conventions to buy a lot of stuff. And the reason why is, I'm already buying a badge, right? Like for the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo, it was $85 for the badge. Now, what's interesting is I didn't, a lot of people I knew, a lot of YouTubers, I didn't realize this. They don't pay for badges. They get invited as special guests and their badges are waived, right? So, which is really interesting. And that's just not my world, right? I really don't focus on the commercial. I don't do any commercial. There's no commercial end to what I do, right? And so that's pretty different, right? That's a really different take. I literally do this for the love of the game, right? It's very different for me. So anyway, I get done with the panels, right? I had not done with the panels. I had a window, maybe an hour or two, where I didn't have any panels that I was interested in. So I went directly into the vendors area, right, which was a different room, a big room with a bunch of vendors. First booth is Joseph Bloch. Now, first of all, I'm going to say this on Joseph Bloch, but man, was this true about everybody I saw except one person. They look so much healthier, so much taller, and so much better live, right? I was impressed how, tall Mike Shea was, how tall Joseph Bloch, and everyone just like, it's just brighter colors, and I guess when you see us on YouTube, we're always sitting down, and I don't know what the posture is or whatever, but like everybody looked better. Like everybody just looked more vibrant, more healthy, taller, So he looked a lot better on, in real life than he did on his channel, right? Which just kind of surprised me. And I couldn't believe how much kind of YouTube just really kind of saps the like vitality out of somebody when you see them, right? But so he's live in the flesh, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you have the Greyhawk channel, right? And he's like, yeah, and so he recognized me. I don't think he knew my name. That's totally okay, right? And I know he's been on my channel like once or twice, but like I'm not his, main jam stuff, right? Which I totally get, right? Because he doesn't care about D&D now, right? He only cares about D&D then, right? So, which is ironic because in 2024, Dungeon Master Guide, there's a huge section on Greyhawk. There you go, right? Like so. But what really blew me away, so I met him. He was very nice, and he was in the vendors area, and his vendor display was amazing. I was blown away. He had like 2 tables, sharp, crisp black covers on them, huge banner, just like you would see at a real convention. Like he had a real display stand, right? And and so he actually has his own tabletop role-playing game, which I did not know, called Adventures Dark and Deep. And his book is designed to look like a 1980s Dungeons and Dragons book, with the orange spine Easley. It's even got the same orange, as the orange spine Easleys. And by the way, I've collected every single orange spine Easleys. You can find videos on my channel about the orange spine Easleys. They're really important to me. The orange spine Easleys are those 1980s hardback Dungeons and Dragons books that came out between like 1978 and about a 1984. And they all have orange spines. There's only 11 of them, right? And I own every single one of them. They were very difficult to get. It took me months. It took me 6 months. But he loved that style too. And Adventures Dark and Deep has the spine has the same color as the orange diamond Easleys. And what was really wild is he's older like me, and actually the books are printed in large print so that people can read them, which blew me away. I was like, holy cow, are you kidding? Like, that's wild, But I was extremely impressed with his commercial acumen, right? Like, it looked like a real business. And not only does he have a core rule book, but he also has multiple adventures, and they looked fantastic. The printing looked really nice, really strong, really fresh. I was extremely impressed, right, with his overall business acumen, the presentation of his books. He was right there, standing tall, representing his product. It was really cool. I was really, really impressed, right? And I will say, like, I love my channel. I work really hard on it. And my numbers aren't like other people's numbers, and that's okay, because I'm not doing the same thing as other people, right? I'm not just here to, hey, Dungeons and Dragons is fun. I got a different thing, so I get that's going to attract a different audience, right? So, but I was really, really impressed with Joseph Bloch. Check out the link below. Go check out his channel. Watch his videos, and if you got the cheddar, man, try his Adventures Dark and Deep. Very impressive. Like, if his book content is as strong as his presentation, I think there's going to be something there. So I was very, very impressed. It was a really nice meeting. And it was one of the highlights of the convention to see him in person. I really was blown away how many YouTube D&D commentator stars were at Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo, and Joseph Bloch was one. And so I just wanted to share that encounter with you. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.